The second is types. You're going to see types. And what these are is these are figures and institutions. And again, I want you to embolden you to just pick up that Old Testament Devo that you're like, nah, I think I'll do John again. You know? I'll do one of the Gospels. And we're so slowly, subtly becoming like red letter Christians. I just stick to the red text because that's what Jesus was about. Read the text where he says the whole thing's about me, so knock it off, right? Dig back into the Old Testament. It's okay. You should be emboldened because the whole entirety of the Old Testament points to Christ. You have to understand that. And so you've got types, you've got figures and institutions that prefigure and foreshadow the coming. I'll give you a few examples. We've got Adam in Genesis, but we've got the second Adam, according to 1 Corinthians 15 and Romans 5, in Jesus. You've got the priesthood. We've got the great high priest, according to Hebrews. So every time you come across a priest, you know that guy's role is being orchestrated by God was to be in a role so that it would point to, though they were not sinless or blameless, he says, look, I'm establishing the priesthood so that people will know they need an ultimate high priest. That's the point. So the priesthood, every time you come across that in the Old Testament, that's a prefiguration of Christ. You've got David and the other kings that prefigure the King of Kings. You've got Moses and the prophets that prefigure the final prophet. You've got animal sacrifices that prefigure the sinless Lamb of God as our sacrifice. You've got the temple, which prefigures God coming to people, having a presence among his people, foreshadowing God coming to his people in the form of Jesus Christ. You've got shepherds who tend their flocks to prefigure the good shepherd. You've got the judges that prefigure the capital J judge. It says in John 5 that for the Father judges no one, but has committed all judgment to the Son. We started Revelation in the college ministry last night, and one of the first things that John does as he peeks into, as he sees this glimpse of eternity in heaven, is he begins to the best of his ability describe Jesus. And he gets to his feet, and he says his feet were like brass that had been refined in a furnace. And fire is this picture, this epic picture of judgment. Jesus has been judged. He was judged on your sin so that when you die, you will be judged on his account. See how that works? That's like the great exchange. So tell you what, I'm going to go to the cross with all your muck so that when you come before God, it won't be about you. Right? A lot of you think you're going to stand before the judge and you're going to give an account for your life by going through good works. Telling him what you didn't do, right? How sick are we are Christians that define themselves by what they don't do? Well, I don't do this. Awesome. Terrific. Right? God comes, he says, and Satan in that epic picture in Revelation, Satan is leveling all the accusation, everything you've done, every time you've watched porn, every time you've gossiped, every time you've sworn, slandered, and dishonored your parents and lied and cheated and stealed, done drugs and alcohol, to drunk, all that sort of stuff. He lays it out, and Jesus, in an epic scene from no movie ever, as the lawyer says, you know what, you're right. Satan's right. You did all that, right? You're like, well, yeah, but I figured you'd be a better lawyer than that. And what does Jesus do? He says, hey, Dad, it's not about him. It's not about her. It's about me. And then God is redirected to Jesus and he says, oh, she's with you? Well, then enter in. Because he took all that sin to the cross and he put it in the grave. It's the only way. Solus Christus. It's Christ alone. And so you see this, again, is this picture of judges in the Old Testament. For the Father judges no one. You see other epic areas like bread and vine and light. And again, all these are types.